being needed is a beautiful thing until it becomes a weight you carry alone. People see your strength, they see your reliability, they see your steadiness, but they rarely see the emotional cost of being the one everyone else turns to. There's a quiet truth most dependable people never say out loud. You don't become reliable by accident. You become reliable because life required it. You become steady because someone had to be. You become strong because the alternative wasn't an option. And once people learn they can count on you, they do. Again and again and again, without hesitation, without thinking about the weight they're placing in your hands. Being needed feels meaningful, but it also creates a pressure that never fully goes away. When you're the one who always shows up, people stop noticing the effort it takes. They don't see the rearranging you do. They don't see the fatigue you push through. They don't see the emotional math you're constantly calculating. They only see the result. You showed up, you handled it, you made it look easy. But it wasn't easy. It was costly. And the cost is almost always invisible. Now, strength is admirable, but it comes with a shadow side. When you're strong, people forget you have limits. They forget you get tired. They forget you need support too. Worse, they assume you're fine because you've always been fine. But strength doesn't mean you're unbreakable. It means you've learned how to carry things quietly. And sometimes that quietness becomes its own kind of loneliness. Being needed isn't just about task, it's about emotional labor. The kind that drains you in ways you can't explain. You hold other people's fears. You absorb their stress. You calm their storms and you carry their uncertainty. And you do it so well that they don't realize how heavy it is. Emotional labor doesn't show up on a calendar. It doesn't earn applause, but it takes something from you every time you offer it. One of the heaviest costs of being needed is the fear of letting people down. You say yes even when you're tired. You help even when you're stretched thin. You show up even when you're running on fumes. Not because you want to, but because you don't want to disappoint anyone. You don't want to be the reason something falls apart. You don't want to be the one who says, I can't. So you keep carrying more than you should. And the cost is your own well-being. Here's the part no one talks about. The people who are needed the most are often checked on the least. Everyone assumes you're okay. Everyone assumes you're strong. Everyone assumes you don't need anything, but you do. You need rest. You need support. You need someone to ask how you're doing and actually wait for the answer. Being needed can make you feel valued, but it can also make you feel invisible. When you're needed for long enough, you start to believe your worth is tied to being useful. You start to think, if I don't help, who am I? If I say no, will they still value me? If I stop carrying everything, will something fall apart? This is the emotional trap of being needed. You confuse your identity with your role, but you're more than what you do for others. Your worth is not measured by your usefulness. Your value is not defined by your availability. Being needed is not the issue. Being over-needed without support is. You don't have to stop being dependable. You don't have to stop being strong. You don't have to stop caring. You just need space to be human. You need boundaries that protect your energy. You need moments where you're allowed to rest. You need relationships where care flows in both directions. Because strength is not the absence of limits. Strength is knowing where those limits are. If you've been carrying the emotional cost of being needed, here's a truth you may have forgotten. You deserve the same care you give to everyone else. You deserve rest. You deserve support. You deserve to be checked on. You deserve to be more than the strong one. For being needed is meaningful, but it should never cost you yourself. You're allowed to set the weight down sometimes. You're allowed to ask for help. You're allowed to be human. And the people who truly value you, they'll understand. You take care. Stay connected.